All right, so let's play a game. I'm going to show you some pictures of some people and a place, and you'll have to guess the name. It's quite simple. Here's the first one. Who is he? This is Michael Jackson, arguably one of the greatest musicians ever, and there's no doubt you've heard one of his songs. Here's the next one. Who is he? This is Nicolas Cage, one of the most famous and highly paid actors in Hollywood. This man needs no introduction. He is Iron Mike Tyson, one of the greatest boxers in history. Now, this one is a bit of a history quiz. Which country's flag is this? This is the Sri Lankan flag. Now, what is the common pattern among all these people and even a place? All of them have gone bankrupt at some point in time or another. The key difference here is the ability to earn money versus the ability to manage money. No doubt, these were some of the highly paid celebrities in the world, and that to an entire country. But all of them didn't know how to manage the money which they had earned, which is why they went bankrupt. Now, we have so many parents and educators here in the audience. Let me ask you a question. How many of you were formally given financial education in your school? I want to see a show of hands. No hands. Well, that's expected. George Bernard Shaw once said, "The surest way to ruin a man who doesn't know how to handle money is to give him some." I'm Himaneesh Sompalle, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about financial literacy. I'm a SEBI-certified equity derivatives analyst at the age of 12, and I completed the executive program in algo trading at the age of 13. And EPAT is recognized by the Institute of Banking and Finance Singapore and several other reputed institutions. Now, what is financial literacy? Put simply, financial literacy is the ability to manage money. Now, financial education is neglected. Why? All the parents here, they want their children to become doctors, engineers, artists, musicians, sports people, and so on and on. But all we're doing is giving them the skills to earn money. Nobody focuses on the skills required to manage the money that they've earned. And due to that, they could end up like the celebrities I showed you. They all are highly paid, but they all, due to a single tiny mistake, can all be left homeless. Financial literacy is a life skill. We all learn swimming and self-defense because those skills are essential to survive in life. Likewise, financial literacy is necessary because if you don't know how to manage your money, the chance is you're going to be left bankrupt. Now, I'd like to move on into a trap that all of us fall into, the debt trap. If you look at the statistics, the US consumer debt has reached over $17.3 trillion, which is nearly half the worth of the US economy. The worst part about this is it's not just the uneducated. Uneducated, educated, parents, students, business people, employees, everybody and everyone is falling into the debt trap. And it keeps getting worse year on year. Will Rogers clearly defined the root cause of why people fall into the debt trap. Too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't want to impress people that they don't like. And now, with social media, we are trying so hard to impress people we don't even know about to get shares, comments, and likes. Now, the way to avoid falling into the debt trap is quite simple. You just ask yourself 2 questions before you buy anything. Number 1, am I spending money that I have earned? And if so, am I buying a thing that I need or am I buying something that I want? Needs versus wants is a very simple concept, but in reality, it can help us filter out a majority of the useless things we buy. By asking yourself these two simple questions, you can avoid unnecessary purchases and thereby avoid falling into the debt trap. Now, I'm going to share 4 stories with you, each with their own message. The first one is the ant and the grasshopper. Now, many of us neglect it as a kindergarten story. In reality, it is a beautiful story whose essence we do not receive. To put it simply, there was an ant who worked hard during the summer. He collected grains, but there was a grasshopper who only used to sing and dance, but never used to really do any work. By the time winter came, the ant had enough grains to last through the winter, but the grasshopper had no grains with him, and so he had to suffer. Now, this story shows the importance of savings and emergency funds. This is further illustrated by the COVID-19 pandemic, when several businesses shut down and several individuals lost their jobs and nearly went bankrupt, all because they didn't have enough savings or emergency funds to help them get back on track during bad times. Now, parents, they try to encourage their children through the use of piggy banks. But as their children grow older and mature into teens, we must also try to give them junior bank accounts, and we must give them some pocket money which they can use to save, create funds, and also learn the power of interest. Moving on to story number 2, the king and the chessboard. It's actually quite simple. There was a king who liked chess, so he called its inventor to his court and told the inventor, "I will give you whatever you want." The inventor said, "I want 1 grain of rice for the first square, double that for the next, and so on until the 64th square on the chessboard." Now, if you've been paying attention in math class, by now you could have recognized the powers of 2 or the exponential series, 8, 16, 32, 64, and so on. By the time you reach the 64th square, you would have over 18 quadrillion grains of rice, or nearly 500 times the annual global rice production. This shows how compounding can make small things extremely big very quickly. Albert Einstein once said, "Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it." Now, I'd like to show you the advantage of an early start. There's an investor. He starts investing, but then stops investing after 10 years. There's another investor who starts 10 years late, but continues investing for 30 years. If you calculate who has more money at the end, the results are extremely shocking. Investor number 1 wins by a large margin of over $200,000. Now, this is just by starting 10 years early. Imagine what you could do if you consistently invested all the way till the end. Now, chess is something which is very close to my heart. I was an inter-school chess champion in my childhood, and I'd like to talk about the journey of a pawn, because it helps illustrate a very powerful concept in finance. A pawn starts on the 2nd row here. It keeps moving up and up. Now it's on the 7th row. And finally, it becomes a queen, the most powerful piece in chess. Now, you had to wait 6 rows in order to get to the 8th row. But once you're on the 8th row, you are rewarded with the most powerful piece in chess. This shows the power of patience. I'd like to use 2 real-life examples to illustrate this. Number 1 is the big bull, Warren Buffett. He started investing at the age of 11, and his pawn, which became a queen, was Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola realized a 47 times gain since Warren Buffett invested in it. So, the next time you drink a Coca-Cola, remember that you're making this old man richer. And not just that, if you look at Warren Buffett's wealth, he started with just $6,000 at age 15. Now, at age 88, his net worth is nearly $85 billion. Here's another example, the Indian big bull, Sri Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. His pawn, which became a queen, was Titan. Titan realized nearly a 750 times gain. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala once said, give your investments time to mature, be patient for the world to discover your gems. His gem was Titan. No. And if you look at Titan's share price at the beginning, it was just 30 rupees. With 30 rupees, you can't even buy a Lay's chips packet or even a bottle of Coke. And now it has given him so much returns. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala started his life with 5,000 rupees. Now his net worth is nearly $5.8 billion. The power of compounding combined with an early start and patience can do wonders to your wealth. Moving on to story number 3, asset diversification. All of us have heard the idiom, don't put all your eggs in a basket, because if you do drop the basket, you lose all your eggs, both literally and figuratively. Now, let me test your financial knowledge. Let's say you have a deposit in a bank for 500 crores, and the bank fails. How much money would you get back from the government on the 500 crores? Anyone? You only get back 5 lakhs on your 500 crores deposit. This shows why asset diversification is so important. To move on to a real-life example, this is actress Sharon Stone. She's quite popular, and she is quite rich. She had a deposit in Silicon Valley Bank. When Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, she lost nearly half of her net worth. Not just that, the bank crashing affected several startups, Indian startups included. They lost a lot of money and had to lay off several people. Several celebrities and stars also lost a lot of money. This brings me to an important mantra in personal finance. Diversification, diversification, diversification. You must always diversify your money and invest it across various assets, such as real estate, equities, jewelry, etc., so that even if one avenue goes down, your money is still invested in all those other avenues. Moving on to story number 4, cyber frauds. Now, if you haven't paid attention to my previous stories, it's fine, your wealth will not grow. But if you don't pay attention to this one, the chance is quite likely that you're going to lose everything that you have. Now, I'd like to begin by sharing a personal anecdote. It was a Saturday morning during COVID-19. My dad opens his phone and stands still. We assumed we had won the lottery. On the contrary, our credit card details were stolen and used to purchase firearms and bombs for terrorists. Now, the first thing we did was we blocked the credit card. After that, we immediately told those companies to stop the transactions because we never did them. We go to the police station, file a first information report, and send that to the bank and the other companies with the necessary details. Now, cyber frauds are one of the most prevalent ways people lose their money. And if you need to stop yourself from falling victim to such traps, there's a simple thing you can do. You shouldn't be afraid. Such people, they try to use fear in order to manipulate you, but remember that if you haven't done anything wrong, you have nothing to fear. So keep calm and do the right thing. Now let us take a pledge towards our financial security. I'd like for all of you to stand up. I want you to raise your hand and repeat after me. We will never share our OTPs, never click on unauthorized links/QR codes, never share our personal credentials, and never be afraid of threatening phone calls. You all can sit down now. Now, Benjamin Franklin once said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Likewise, I want all of you to stop watching cat videos on YouTube and dance videos on TikTok and instead do something useful. Start reading all the books, websites, blogs about personal finance. Try to listen to financial podcasts, take courses or seminars, and do certifications. It's not going to be easy, but you have to educate yourself regarding personal finance. Because you need to help yourself before you help others. On a plane, you put the oxygen mask first to yourself before putting it on to others, because you need to be conscious in order to help others. Likewise, if you aren't financially literate, how are you going to help your friends, family, and the next generation be financially literate? This shows why financial literacy is extremely important. I'd like to conclude with this. You heard from me today. Tomorrow, it may be Warren Buffett on CNBC or one of the several influencers or financial gurus. And they'll all be giving you their opinions. You'll be listening to hundreds of different opinions. But at the end of the day, you take the final call. And you manage your finances, and you make informed decisions using common sense. So remember, it's your money, your decision. Thank you.